into the Halbach motor files, and it had A's and B's. So A prints and B prints. Now some of these, like the collar and the washer, they didn't have it recorded as an A or B. So I just went ahead and put those on the list to print, or in the file to print. So I imported those. And then I imported all the A's. And I'll print the other 3 components that are B's later on. So the collar and the washer doesn't matter which one they go to. These are the files that I combined for A's. So I'm going to print off the rotor, the core, and the mount. Move that around. So I just placed those so that they wouldn't be touching. We're going to print these first. So the printer, I've already put the glue on the build plate. And now all we need to do is preview this. Alright, so we've got one warning here. So we're going to enable support. So we're going to do what we did last time because that seemed to work. So let's go into support. We'll enable support, and we're just going to go with this auto because that's what we used last time. And that seemed to work. Support critical regions only. That's what we did last time. And I'm going to leave that there because, again, I don't know enough to do anything else. And let's preview that again and see if we get the same warning. Set up. Let's go to preview. Alright, it looks like we're good to go. No warnings popped up that second time around once we enabled support. So we can go ahead and start printing. So let's go ahead and print plate. Send this out to our printer. Hopefully we won't have an issue. So there's our printer. We're not going to worry about the micro SD card. That's for the time lapse. We're not concerned about that. And let's go ahead and send. So you can see the bed moving, printer head moving.
Print is finished, so we're going to go ahead and take it out. Let's go ahead and close our screen. We didn't get an error message, so that is good. Oh, that looks cool. So there's the A files. So we'll go ahead and break those free. We got to be real careful because this one is super thin. To get off. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's not. All right, while the B parts print, we're going to go ahead and take off some of these supports. Now, some are pretty easy to take off. Others, we're going to have pliers to kind of pull some of this stuff off.
First, let's go over here to File, Import. We're going to take those SLT files. So this is the rotor B. We did both of these A files last time. We just didn't have room on the build plate. Let's open that up. Alright, so I took it to the center. We got a warning because those two are touching. So we've done the rotor B, stator core B. Now let's scroll down and do the stator core mount, stator mount. And that should be all the files we have to complete. Alright, let's go into support. We're going to enable supports. Normal auto, we're going to keep that. Alright, and then let's do critical regions only, and that looks good. Let's go ahead and preview that. While that's previewing, I'm going to go ahead and kick on the printer. Looks like everything's good. Send this over and print the plate. So let's go ahead and send it. And our printer head is starting to move, I'm going to go ahead and turn the computer off and we'll let it go through the process.
And once it's done, we'll let it cool down and we'll clean off the supports because this one had supports as well. Files are done. Should be cooled down. Let's look. Yeah. So cool enough to remove. So these were all the B files. So we're still waiting on bolts to come in, but we cleaned off a lot of the supports. This was the hardest part to get out, and so I didn't do a very good job. And I probably still have some more that I need to get out. Start off with that bolt, and it's going to run through. We're going to have to drill these out with that 8mm drill bit and then put a bolt in. And there's also other, I think they're 4mm bolts that we've got to have. So you would have a shaft that's running out. Just pop this in. That locks into place. So that's going to be our bottom piece. Yeah, so this part's going to slide in. And it'll only go down so far. And then that allows those to lock together. And I'm not sure if this washer is going to be necessary. It may not be necessary for everyone. All right, so let's make sure that fits down in there. We're going to have wires wrapped around. You'd have not only the 8mm, but you'd have the 4mm bolts coming out the side, and that would thread down. And then you would put a collar on. And we're still waiting for all of our parts. So the original design is not to be printed in PLA. It's supposed to be PETG that can handle a little bit higher heat. And so we're missing elements of this. We need the bearings, we need the bolts, we need the wiring. And then once we finish that, we can test it.